The King's Avatar, Chapter 1163. Get Out. Audio source, wusharworldaudiobook.com. Chapter 1163, Get Out. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. How could this be? Mo Chuchen still didn't understand, but Arrogant Flower's name was already grey in the team list. Nice snipe. Fang Rui's Boundless Sea said in the public chat. I can't stay rusty forever, Yishu replied with a smiley face. Just before Arrogant Flowers would have fallen into the water, Mo Chuchen had been prepared to swim against the current. At that moment, a bullet fired from the Myriad Manifestation umbrella, sniping Arrogant Flowers and sending him off the map to his death. What was the point of a healer here? Yishu's words hadn't disappeared yet and could still be seen in the public chat. Yet in the blink of an eye, the player he killed happened to be this useless healer. Perhaps a healer was useless here, but what about elsewhere? The healer's value would be very high. However, 100 Blossoms no longer had the chance to experience the value of having a healer. Right now, 100 Blossoms hadn't dealt any major damage to the enemy team, nor were they in an advantageous position, yet they had already lost their core player and their important healer. 100 Blossoms' current situation was extremely bad. In a normal match, teams in this situation might just directly call GG and forfeit the match. However, 100 Blossoms didn't want to forfeit. They had already lost quite terribly in the individual competition and the group arena. Right now, they only had a single point. Typing GG and losing would be disastrous. If the enemy team can use this instant kill zone, so can we. We have no healer, but the enemy team doesn't either. In terms of numbers, both sides each have 3 players. Neither side has the advantage. Zhou Yuan, Zhou Guangyi, Zhang Wei. The 300 Blossoms players would no longer retreat. Without a healer, playing tug-of-war with Happy was not wise. Right now, they need this instant kill zone more than Happy. They need to instantly kill these Happy characters to come back from this terrible situation. Attack! Zhou Yuan ordered in the team chat. The 300 Blossom players sprinted forward. The burst grenade explosion, Lord Grim grabbing, flinging, sniping Arrogant Flowers off the map had all happened in an instant. The 300 Blossoms players also instantly examined the situation and made a clear decision. While the 3 Happy players were still steadying themselves, they immediately pounced on them and attacked. Their target was the character closest to the waterfall, Lord Grim. Broom Tornado. Zhang Wei liked to use this switch skill. This time, Endless Forest flew into the air. As his broom spun, he shot towards Lord Grim like a tornado. Below, Zhou Guangyi's assassin was using Shingcut to move. However, this time, he wasn't using it to attack, but to coordinate with Zhang Wei and restrict Lord Grim's movement options. Along with Zhou Yuan's Bright Blossoms firing non-stop, they forced Lord Grim towards the waterfall. You guys learn fast. Yishu still had time to type a few words. It seemed like he wasn't worried about his current situation. And just like this, Lord Grim confidently ran towards the waterfall as if to satisfy 100 Blossoms' desires. If only we had a burst grenade right now. Zhou Yuan looked at burst grenades cooldown and felt annoyed. If he had a burst grenade, the shockwave would be more than enough to send Lord Grim off the stage. How convenient would that be? But right now, what do I do now? Zhou Yuan quickly thought about this question and realized that it wasn't easy for the 3 to do something. While Lord Grim could just grab Arrogant Flowers and throw him, the 3 of them didn't have that type of skill. This situation gave Zhou Yuan a greater understanding of why Happy chose Broken River. It seemed like a map that everyone knew, but in reality, because of each team's class composition, it was unfavorable for 100 Blossoms. In addition, Team 100 Blossoms only had fuzzy memories of how to play on this map. The impact of this fuzziness could now be deeply felt. This was a map that fully utilized Happy's home field advantage. After seeing Lord Grimm confidently retreat towards the waterfall on his own accord, Zhou Yuan smelled a scheme. Happy had come to this map prepared. They had definitely practiced tactics revolving around this special terrain. What is it? Zhou Yuan watched Lord Grimm's movements closely, while constantly taking note of Boundless Sea and Soft Mist. Those two were on their way back after being blown away by Burst Grenade. What are they going to do? Zhou Yuan truly didn't have any idea. Truthfully, he didn't have any experience with this map. Careful. Zhou Yuan could only remind his two teammates. Zhang Wei wasn't a particularly talented player. However, having been a pro player for so long, he was well practiced. In this instant, he also felt like there was some deeper meaning behind Lord Grimm's calm retreat. He pondering over what it could be, when he saw Zhou Yuan's warning in the chat. Zhang Wei was greatly alarmed. Had something happened already? He looked around in a panic and swept over the three happy characters one by one, but he didn't discover anything unusual. He woke up immediately afterwards. The warning had been because Zhou Yuan felt like there was something fishy about Lord Grimm. A communication error between teammates wasn't good. Zhang Wei realized that his condition was off. However, he was powerless to fix it. Without having a clear understanding of why they were at a disadvantage, they couldn't help but hesitate. In any case, we have to try. In the end, Zhang Wei made his decision. They were already at a disadvantage. In this sort of situation, if they didn't struggle and gamble, how could they win? Forward. Zhang Wei feared that the other two would fail to coordinate properly because of the hesitation in their hearts, so he let everyone know before acting. Forward. Zhou Yuan knew that they could not drag this on. After replying to Zhang Wei, his Bright Blossoms threw a grenade. Seeker Grenade. This grenade came with its own propeller like a mini helicopter. After it flew out, it locked onto Lord Grimm and flew towards him. Boom. Lord Grimm held up his Myriad Manifestations umbrella and shot down this Seeker Grenade in mid-air. But this was just the start of Bright Blossom's assault. Another two grenades were thrown, normal ones that could also be used by an unspecialized. Lord Grimm jumped backwards to dodge them, but another grenade followed closely behind. Lord Grimm once again opened up his umbrella and also wanted to shoot down this grenade. To his surprise, that grenade had yet to reach him, when it suddenly exploded. Time grenade. Yi Xiu immediately recognized it as a time grenade. To put it simply, it was a time bomb. The timer could be set as long as 8 seconds, but the one Bright Blossoms threw was at most set to 2 seconds. Zhou Yuan linked it together with his other grenade and had it explode before Lord Grimm could respond. But at such a distance, let alone damage, Lord Grimm wasn't even affected by the shockwave from the explosion. However, the smoke produced from the explosion temporarily blocked his sight. Yi Xiu immediately had Lord Grimm roll. Sure enough, a magic ray pierced through the smoke, but it missed because Lord Grimm had preemptively dodged it. This old fox. Zhang Wei was helpless. He was already one of the oldest players in the alliance, but his opponent was even more senior than him. There was probably nothing Yi Xiu had never seen before. It just depended on whether he could react in time. Unfortunately, their coordinated attack wasn't effective. Zhou Guangyi's Cold Seasons had originally been lying in wait for an opening, but Yi Xiu wasn't their only opponent. WuxRWorldAudio.com. Fang Rui and Tang Rou promptly joined the battle. Cold Seasons wasn't able to act in time before the two interfered. Zhou Guangyi could defend against Tang Rou's soft mist wild frontal assault, but the problem was that the cunning Fang Rui was lying on the sidelines. It was truly unbearable. Zhou Yuan and Zhang Wei saw this situation and knew that it would be bad if they didn't help. Zhang Wei's endless forest threw a lava flask over to that side. Zhou Yuan had Bright Blossoms turn around and fire a few bullets, but most of his attention was still on Lord Grimm. "He's coming." Seeing Lord Grimm stop retreating towards the waterfall and instead charge at them, Zhou Yuan didn't panic and started eagerly looking forward to it. Bright Blossoms held a tiny remote control in his left hand. Previously, he had thrown not 3 but 4 grenades. A remote control grenade was 3 units away from Lord Grimm right now. 1 step, 2 steps. Boom. The remote control grenade exploded. The shockwave sent Lord Grimm flying back. Zhou Yuan felt a surge of excitement in his heart. Zhang Wei also noticed it and knew that this was a rare opportunity. In this instant, he and Zhou Yuan displayed a high level of tacit understanding. Zhou Yuan's Bright Blossoms turned towards soft mist and boundless sea, helping cold seasons ward them off. Zhang Wei's endless forest, on the other hand, rode on his broom and chased after Lord Grimm. The remote control grenade's power wasn't that high. The knockback wasn't enough to knock Lord Grimm off the waterfall. What's more, Lord Grimm could use skills to prevent that. Broom tornado. Endless forest flew into the air and immediately came down like a tornado. He aimed precisely. At this angle, he could send Lord Grimm towards the very edge of the map while retreating with a jump backwards. "It's been so many years and you're still doing the same trick." A message from Yi Shu popped into the chat. Zhang Wei suddenly felt that the situation wasn't good. However, the broom tornado had already been activated. Lord Grimm's umbrella was faster though. Circle swing. Endless forest was knocked into the air. His broom tornado had been broken, and Zhang Wei was helpless. This was the difference between them. He was just an experienced veteran, but Yi Shu, he was one of the players who stood at the top of glory. If Broom Tornado was done correctly, it could completely avoid this type of interrupt. Over Zhang Wei's professional career, he had always favored this skill, but in the end, it was still blocked by Yi Shu. The umbrella drew a circle in the air. The one thrown out of the map wasn't Lord Grimm but Endless Forest. However, Endless Forest was a witch. With the skill Broom Mastery, he had plenty of room to maneuver. This was why Zhang Wei, although feeling helpless, was not yet panicked. But who would have thought, when the circle swing finished, Endless Sea hadn't even had the chance to move yet before the myriad manifestations umbrella retracted and shifted from spear to gun form. Bang bang bang. 3 anti-tank missiles exploded onto Endless Forest, pushing him far out. And then, the shockwaves from the explosions pushed him even farther along. Fuck. Seeing the distance between the inside of the map and his position outside of the map, Zhang Wei lost all hope. Witches could somewhat fly in the air, but it was impossible at this distance. Team 100 Blossoms Witch, Endless Forest, killed. End chapter.